Hi everybody, my name is REIQ and welcome to a new tutorial. This time I'll be covering eyes. Eyes will be the subject of this new tutorial. I think that the eye is something that people want to master to draw, because obviously it's a soul, is a window to the soul, and it has a lot of connection. And as soon as you put some eyes on a drawing or in a face, it becomes something a little bit extra. And if you can draw an eye the proper way, then you will have a more successful drawing or portrait. So to begin with, I will start explaining the basic, but this is important to keep this knowledge when drawing the eye. And the first things I would say is obviously the eye is a rounded. It's a sphere, rounded, and it's composed by the pupil, and the iris, and the white of the eye. Also, there's a highlight, which is one of the most important aspects of the eye that brings a lot of life, is having a highlight that will always bring, that feeling of being wet and reflecting the light around it. So that's the first thing. There's roundness of the eyes, and these elements are that must have to be on your drawing. You can change the type of pupil and iris depending according to your character. And then once we got this, the eye, we have the eyelid, and we get the upper eyelid and the lower eyelid. Okay, and these are following the form of the sphere as it covers the eye. It follows the rounded shape of the eye. However, the eye itself is inside the skull. Let me go here. Inside the skull. It's just a drawing, like showing. Probably it might be a little bit deeper in the skull. Yeah, probably way more deeper. But the idea is that you have to keep in mind that the eye is surrounded by the bones of the cheekbones and skull and the nose. Everything is to protect the eye, and the eyelids to protect more the eyes. Everything is to protect the eye, basically. And once we get this feeling that the eye is inside the skull, then we have a sense of structure. And this is the drawing I did to explaining a little bit how the eyes are inside the socket eye. It feels like they're deep inside there. And once you have that idea, it has a lot of three-dimensionality in the eye becomes something more solid. Because the issue that is pretty common is people draw the eye and they go straight for a very, very flat way of doing the eye, like this, and pretty flat. And sometimes it can work. Even now, I'm drawing the eye and still following some rules. But the eye, many people can draw the eye in different ways. But it becomes flat. If it doesn't have any roundness or three-dimensionality of form, it feels flat. It feels like really flat and dead a little bit. Okay? So that's why I start showing you these images as a starting point for drawing the eye. And as I was saying, once we have the skull and everything in place, and we take into consideration the angles of the face, the skull, plus the eye inside the socket, Then we have this structure here that it basically shows you the area. This area is where the eye resides, and this area are the muscles around the eye that help you move our features. And I'm gonna go deep into that because the eye is not only the ball and the eyelids, it's just the whole range of things that happens around the eye. Because the eye itself, they don't move from up or down. It's just a sphere just rotates. So the eyes are always going to be in the same place, but the features the features and the muscles around the eyes are the ones that are going to give you the expression. The eyebrows and the muscles around will give you expression. So, and then after like I'm gonna go around to draw the eye, but then later we can go and simplify. We can simplify and start designing our own type of eye that we want to create. We can really vary the type of eyes, but we can give it more personality, following certain rules, and you can change many things and create different styles of drawing. And I'm gonna go through that, how to create different eyes with structure, so you have more variety when designing your characters. Okay, even the manga eyes have a structure. Okay, so yes, these are the main things about the eye. Okay, so for drawing the eye, what I'm going to do is just start with a sphere. Start with a sphere, and I'm gonna do more like a 3/4 view of the eye. And once we get the sphere, we have some three-dimensionality and form. And based on that, we should follow the form as it's like a disc. It's like not like a disc, like a Saturn. It's like the ring of Saturn. It goes around the eye. It's like a planet kind of thing. So it goes around and goes thicker on the corner, like that. And on the other side, on the lower. Okay. And once we got this, we can draw the sphere of the eye inside here. And the iris, the pupil, it goes deeper in the eye, because this is the eye and the pupil is deeper. Okay, so that will give you more three-dimensionality to your eye. Also, the eye, if you see a profile view of the eye, the pupil and the iris is like a lens. You see it has this bump in the eye, So this bump, little bump in the eye caused by the pupil and caused by the iris, will actually indeed change our eyelid, our eyelid shape. Let's say this is an eye, and it's looking down, and it has that three-dimensionality. Once I do that, I can deform a little bit. You can feel that the eye is pushing. And looking and changing that thin skin of the eyelid. Okay. And yeah, it happens a lot that since I draw like in a very kind of like think about the mask. Just push the iris a little bit there. And also the size can vary, according to the eye you're drawing, style you're drawing. Maybe you want some thicker borders here. I like to shade the eye from darker to lighter at the end. It has that nice feeling. It gives some nice color and feeling to the eye. And of course, the highlight. Okay. The eyelid and the eyelashes. So that's what I was saying, that one like Venus. That's why like like Saturn. You really feel that there's something about the eye covering there. And I'm gonna go and break down the eye a little bit simpler, because this seems to be more realistic and complicated. Probably complicated for some people. Can be a little bit complicated. So what I'm gonna do is like to break down a little bit the shape of the eye. And one of the things I learned is that the eye is not only this, but there's some corners or angles that have to be preserved to create that feeling of an eye. It's not only like this. So there are points. Let's say we have a circle here, we have our sphere, and I like to think in terms of 3 points. 1 point, 2 points, and 3 points. And these points are going to give me the shape of the eye. Let's say the eye is here. Okay. Wait, be bigger. Yeah, it will be bigger. So what I do is like this is where we drop our tears. This is one corner. Sorry, one corner. Another corner. But thinking about the three-dimensionality of that eye. Okay. So those 3 points will help me to create a better, the illusion of the eye structure. It will give more structure to your drawing. And let's say I have a sphere again, and we use the 3 points, and we can really give it more that feeling, of one corner, 1, 2, and 3. And the highlight. The highlight can change of any size, can be subtle. So you see, only by having like those 3 points there, we can create a nice eye there. We can have other points to it. 1, 2. Well, this is 3. The main ones are 3. Okay. So that's one of the tricks for the eye. Okay. And jumping from this structure that I just explained, I would like to add the following. Let's expand a little bit beyond the eye. And if we expand a little bit on the eye, we're gonna have the eyebrow and the nose bridge, and we'll have that structure of the skull I was mentioning. And the funny thing about this is that the eye and the socket has these 3 points I was mentioning. They duplicate the expand from the eye. So we have one eye here. And then we have our 3 points. 1, 2, 3. And then we expand it. We will have an eye there. You know, just by doing the points, these 3 points here, 1, 2, and 3. And you see, it duplicates for the corner of the eyelid and duplicates for the corner here. Same with here, and this one here, well, it doesn't duplicate, but duplicates here. Okay. So this is a good way to draw the eye, having a structure, sense of a structure, just by thinking of 3 points. Okay? Because the rest is about making the eye beautiful, with the highlight, the dark here, do some shading, putting the eyelashes. The eyelashes in the upper lid are going to be the biggest one, and as you go down, it can grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, and on here, it's smaller. So this is what I was saying when the 3 points expand. And the funny, not the funny thing, the interesting fact of this is that all this area around the eye is filled with muscle, and that muscle is the one that helps to move the eyelids and change the eyebrow, and it's a muscle that goes around that eye in a form of a circle. Okay, and those are gonna help us a lot to understand a little bit of the eye movement. And well, another point I would like to clarify here, this is small, maybe this is bigger for you, is that the eye itself, the structure of this, if we think about the mass and the three-dimensionality of the eye, we can add more three-dimensionality to the eye, you know. So what I'm explaining here is the orientation of the form around the eye. Okay? That's the orientation. And that's how the planes and the form breathes around the eye. You can touch your eye and you will see how they change, how the planes change direction. And these are important when drawing the eye. Okay, and once we have learned those steps that I show you on how to draw the eye, I would like you to see how we can translate that 3 points drawing of the eye 3 points that I was explaining of the eye into more like anime style, because I guess that many people want to see that. And the anime eye style is basically the same design, just that it varies. It has a different length on those 3 angles. Even has because sometimes they draw the eyes really big. You can have another angle here. You can have 1, 2, and 3 in the corner, and then you can have this one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there you go. And then you can draw the eye, the anime eye. The anime eye is bigger, way bigger than the human one, than the realistic one. Has a bigger pupil, iris, and bigger highlight. Sometimes double highlights. The more highlights, the more magical, the more cute the eye will look. And depends on the style of animation that you're looking for, where you can see how the 3 points translate for like a manga anime drawing. Because the rest is more about style. You know? In the case of the eyes that I like to do are more sexy, you know? And for sexy, I like to close a little bit the eye. But you will see something first. Let me draw the eye like I'll do for my characters, for my sexy girls. And for the sexy girls, I'm looking for the same. I have 1 point, 2 points, 3 points here, and I go around. Okay. I like to have my eye really drawn bigger, big highlight, like that. That's my kind of like the style of eyes that I like to draw, and I like to put a lot of eyelashes on the side. Okay, I'll have this here, and some smaller ones on this side. Okay. This will be more like my design of drawing the eyes. But now, well, I'll draw the eyes and draw a little bit of the eyelid here, and then it goes down. You know, it's the same. 1 point here, it reflects here. 1 point, 1 point. So that's the corner that you have to hit for the eye to change direction. Okay, and then the eyebrow. I like to have it thicker at the beginning, and as it goes, it becomes smaller, 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 thicker there. Okay, so that's more like the general eye that I do. But let's see how it changed from this to something more sexy when you lower the upper eyelid a little bit more. It's like your eyelid has a little bit more weight. The iris is cut in half, well, almost in half. A little bit of the highlight is shown. More of the eyelids are more sexy, more like feathers. And close a little bit more here. Make it more subtle. Well, we have to get rid of this here on the top because the eyelid is being closed. And there you go, you got a more sexy eye. Yeah, sexy eye. Yeah. And go a little bit from dark. to lighter. And why is it dark from dark to lighter? Is because, well, the eyelids, the eyelashes, and everything casts a shadow, and that shadow falls into the eye here. Same with the white of the eye. It has a little bit of shadow there. There's also another way of keeping the structure of the eye, especially when shading, is to think in this shape that I'm gonna draw for the eyelid. It's like an 8. It goes from here. Let me change the brush. Yes. It goes around. Oh my god, it's so short. Sorry. Right? Okay. It goes around like this. It's more like kind of like an 8. Okay. And what is this shape? That's how the shape starts turning. The shape starts turning. From this point, it will start going deep, 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 and then it will start changing from up, 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 up. Okay? And why this is important? Why is this important? Because when light is hitting your subject and your drawing, this area will commonly be darker. Usually it's darker, and it's an area that if you do some dark accent on that part of the eye, it will create the feeling that this is deep and this is going out. If you're going deep, then you have more sense of volume of the eye being rounded, you know? And you will see that in portraits or even in like normal pictures of, you just look at people and you will see that's the kind of like the deep area of the eye. If you touch your eye, that will be like the deepest area. So it's usually darker. Okay. So when you do your drawings and you want to know how that area, when that area begins or starts, you just do that. You just follow the shape of the eye. It's like a drop, you know? Like a drop like this. Drop. Okay. And that will help you with the orientation of shading, as I was saying before. And I will do it here, in the eye that I was drawing before. If I put some shading, put a little bit flat, some shade there, a little bit more darker here, sorry, shade here, a little bit more darker, also the eye, here a little bit of shade, a little bit of shade, here a little bit of shading here, a little bit of shading on the lower, like that, see? And a little bit on the side. Because if you're drawing the eye and you want to add some lights, let's say the light comes from this side, well, there's going to be a corner that will have that. You have to suggest that roundness. Just by having a little bit of shading here. But as I said, good. Well, it's more like a yin yang, I think. Yin yang. Okay. That way, shading on here and here, it will give it more this sense of three-dimensionality. Same if you're drawing the eyes, and if you have a from the eye has around the eye there's some skin. So this is where we cry, where we drop our tears. That's a lacrimal. I think it's lacrimal in English, but it's in Spanish it's lagrimal. Okay. So you see, just by doing that, then you can have the eye, and let's give it more structure. That's something that happens if you draw. You have to keep in mind the structure, and I forgot right now. I forgot about it. You see, just by changing that angle here, that's the upper angle of the eyelid, and this is the lower. Here, so eyelashes. The upper eyelid will fall there. And the eyelid here. Okay. So when drawing, think about the three-dimensionality of the eye. I will say practice a lot drawing that sphere. Then feeling that three-dimensionality. I think that's the most important thing that I cannot stress enough. Get your 3 points. Remember, this is wrapping around the eye, so you should go around like Saturn to feel that roundness. Eye rings, highlight. The highlight could be like I like to see it here, between the eye and the white of the eye. That's a good place to see the highlight. Okay. Then we can do our yin too here. Okay. And some eyelashes. Eyelashes. Okay. So if we change the design of the eye for anime, like we did here and one of the many versions, and that this is the point where you can start practicing changing those, how big you want the upper lid and then the lower lid, how many eyelashes do you want, what will be the design, could be like too long here. You can have an eyelash when it change angle. You can have some design there in the corners. You can have a more narrow, or you can have a smaller. Or way bigger. You can play with the inner design. You can have a thicker ring inside the eye. You can have more detail. You can even change the design of this. If we want to make a certain character design, we can play a lot, you know, with those designs. You see, it's pretty common to have when drawing different anime styles is that one eye will go really thin, especially for evil characters. But then again, we have 1, 2, 3 points. And then you can have a eye here. You can change. No evil. No evil there. But what my point is here is to remind you. Remember the angles. Keep that roundness. Remember to place the eyelid a little bit of the lower eyelid depending on the character that you're doing, that you're drawing. And for men, there's other kind of way of drawing the eye. You can have a top eyelid flat and then a rounded lower lid. No? It's not that rounded in the top, and you can have the eye. Sometimes you can have the eye not touching any of the eyelids. And that's another design. You can try. You know, bigger at the top, lower. More darker here. So think about your character as well when you do this. You have 3, or you go here. Yeah, the top of the eyelid a little bit darker. So there you go, we have another eye kind of eye. Around. You have to be subtle with your things. So here, around. I'd like to remind you of what I was explaining of the yin yang here. And if I move around the muscle of the eye that I was explaining a little bit before, then we can have an expression. And this is the easiest one to draw, angry. Angry means that the top will go down here. And then we have more expression. And the amazing thing about the eye is that you can keep playing. You can lower the upper eyelid and it gives you completely different design, different feeling of character. Even like this, more like dead, there is no shiny eye or anything, more like, well, that's what I do, kind of feeling. Tired, I'm tired, or I'm sexy, you know. So those are the things to keep in mind when doing the eyes in your putting a style on the design of your eye. Okay. So I hope this helps. And the next step I'm gonna draw is gonna draw again a couple of eyes so you to see, and especially I'm gonna draw the profile eye that I might have forgotten the profile of the eye. I just explained that the iris and the pupil and everything has a little bit of a bulge here, okay? And then we have our eyelids that opens like, it looks like a Pac-Man kind of thing. Pac-Man there, and it goes around the eye. You know, around the eye. There's the upper eyelid and the lower eyelid. So you see how the profile view of the eye has a reading, has a certain reading. It feels a little bit like a structure, but that's what we want to get from here. Okay, we can do a little bit here. Okay, so yeah, let's move on to another drawing that I want to do. Okay. Okay, so now, well, I'm gonna do a quick kind of drawing to see how the eyes and everything fits together. I try to put put all the guidelines and everything for the next step. This is just a sketch. I'm gonna redefine after. Just something quick to create a base using what we have learned so far. Let's see how it goes now. Okay, so after creating this sketch and lay down, and I did some measurements. I tried to place the eyes and try to put the corners where they are. But don't think that you have to get the eye and everything correct the first time. The more you draw the eyes and you practice with faces and all that, it will come more easy as you create the whole face, the whole head. So let's say that's my structure guy, and then I can go and design the eyelashes and design the eyes. Also, don't forget the eyelid. That's very important. Just a little bit of suggestion will be good. Your eyebrow, remember, in that corner should turn in that corner of the head a little bit. Then lower lid, try to follow this line as much as possible, because that will give us the roundness of the eye. And that's why, if you have in mind those things, instead of apart from designing the shape, you can design thinking about the three-dimensionality, how curvy that eye is, and it will give, just by doing that little thing, your eyes will be more. You have a more successful kind of design of the eye, and you can decide if you want to lower a little bit the eyebrow, maybe the eyelashes, close a little bit more of the eye, make it more sexy or not. And then I would like to move the eye here to the side. This. And because it's an anime eye, I want it will be more like an egg-shaped design. And yeah, you can even create a little bit of lines here to, to keep that three-dimensionality going. With the pupil, you can actually probably push it a little bit more here, create highlights, have those as a reference there. There you go. And then we can translate these to the other side, as I did with the lines there. Keeping in mind the design that we're already doing on the other side, try to duplicate that as much as possible. You can even follow this line and make it follow on the other side, so you will have a nice flow in the eyes. Same with here, from the corner. And then that way you can translate better the design of your eye. You can have one here, have bigger eyelashes. It depends on the character. Just don't do single eyelashes. It doesn't look good. It's better if you group them and you give them mass, is better than single, like a single line, unless that's the design of the character you want. And it has those certain characteristics, you know. Same with this eye. Put some eyelashes here, trying to match on the other side the eyeball, the iris, and all that. So highlight here, go around it. And I was saying, well, the things that the difference between that kind of realistic eye and this eye is like, it's really subtle. Here the change of the angles are really subtle, but if you manage to have them, then you will have a more beautiful and structured eye. It will give more quality to your drawing. You see? And I was saying with expression, these lines just echo, you know, and they can actually change a lot your design. Can even go down here, and, you know, that will change your design. And so yeah, let me keep going here. Remember the corner, there's a corner here, and then go down. There you go. And this is a more like an anime manga face, as I was saying before. So sometimes you have to go over it a few times to get it right, you know. Maybe things are not exactly the same, but as you draw, you can fix them. You can really find that the shape of things. I like having a little bit of degradation here. You make the field eye more solid. You can have different designs for these. I was explaining before. Let me keep it like rounded and nice like this. Also around the eye. That's more like what I like to draw when I'm doing my characters and all that. Is that variation there? You know, you can play a lot with those. Okay. The mouth, well, the mouth and all that. That's another thing. You know, so take your eye. So I'm not gonna draw the whole face, but well, let me redefine a little bit. Here are the sides. So you see, it has like a certain. It feels solid. That's the whole point that I want to put across. Is that don't think about the eye just as only as a shape that sits there, but think about it as it sits on the face. There is a mass around the head. You know? But yeah, this is more kind of like what I was trying to get across. You know? And it will look better if you can go over and select with the Lasso tool. You have a better design with the Lasso tool too. That's another tool that you can use. Create more eyelashes. Go back here. What I feel with that. There you go. See? Same with what I was explaining, the yin yang thing going on here. That means in this area will be darker. Here's the corner, so you can have some lines here. but don't have certain, like a certain degree of shadow there. Probably on this side will be more effective. You feel more the curve and the deepness of the eye socket there on that side. You can color the eyelid, well in this case and shading the eyelid, it will give that feeling of a makeup. Same here, you can create a little bit more sense of that. You can go bold again with the eyelashes. Depends on what you want to achieve for the characters and the design. Like you might have like 3 different. I mean, you have three or more eyelashes, and that character only has that many eyelashes. That will give some extra touch to the characters. Instead of doing all the same, you can change things around for you. And what else? There's something I like to do, and when doing changing expressions, is that you can have a better control too of an expression if you can lower the eyelid. It gives another feeling, more sexy. Just halfway there, you know, more close. You can have a smaller eyes here. Have a different design. You can change that as much as you want. You can add another highlights here and there. But that's more like an anime manga. So let's say the eyelid stays there. It's only this space that will increase size. And you can really go from this point. You can almost close the eye. Well, not almost close the eye, but and that will give it more sexiness. Yeah. So test different options that you can find there. Try to test different eye styles. You can have one head, and then try different styles. You can change the proportions, like 1, 2, 3. You can change like 1, 2, 3, and you can have a more round eye with the eyelashes going that way. But keeping that roundness, don't forget about that. It's the most important thing for eyes, I believe. You can have more different shapes there for the eyes. You can have a bigger eyelid there. You can have a small eyebrow there. Then you start playing with styles, 1, 2, 3, and this is another style. But notice how the line just flow and ends with the highlight, with the eyelashes. There is a flow there. Flow, flow, flow. You see? Beautiful there, and some shadow here. And that's another type of eye that you can implement and try to use. So again, that depends on the character, and once you design an eye, you only have to translate the corners, the main corners, and translate the shape of that. As I say, flows. So there's another one here. Flows there, flows there, flows there. There you go. This is tiny here. This is bigger. Yeah, sorry. But you get what I mean, right? Just by changing those points, you can have different designs. Look around, look around. And I'll go later on with the nose. And if you can add a hole there, you can have more structure if you want. You can make it simple. Anime can be use even a dot. But that's for the next one. So I always like to add that shadow here on this side. It makes the eye go deeper in that corner. It makes the sense of, well, the eye is sitting there inside there. You can change expressions. Change this, that. Forget your yin yang. Have some shadow there. Just a little bit. So yeah, it depends on how you want to tackle the design of your eyes. In this case, are like girls' eyes, stuff like that. And they give you different characters, you know. This is not the same than this. It's like more like sexy and I gotta get you. The other one is more like, oh, you're just a nice girl. So the options are endless with the features. You only have to like practice different eye styles, different styles. Different styles from different artists that you like, and see how they do the eyes and how they even color the eyes and everything. So yeah. Okay, one extra thing I would like to add for this tutorial, how to draw the eye thing, is that when you think about expressions, think about the mask I was explaining before. And here you can see how by changing that mask I was telling you, we can really achieve different expressions of the eye and everything, you know. There's a different ways that you can change that, and mainly are the points that change the most are these points here, the points of the eyebrow. But think as well about the cheekbones and then the cheek area, because if you have a cheek and that cheek is going up, that going up of the cheek will create that kind of, how I say, it will push the lower eyelid upper, and that will give more like something more natural, I believe. Another thing about this is like, well, in this case I didn't do it properly, but this is just an expression of the eyes, like with a surprise expression. And one of the tricks about the eyes in more like a cartoony style, even anime, is to change the size. Like, even though the eyes are the same, you can change the size. So if we have variation of sizes, then it will have more variety, and it will feel more natural. It won't feel like well, two balls there, and you know, it won't be that simple. It will be more dynamic, so asymmetric. That's the word. Keep it asymmetric. You know, like one small and one bigger will always work for expressions, and it will give more naturality. Even this one, you can even close one a little bit more, and then have the other one open a little bit more. And I was saying the lower eyelid can go up, and that has another expression. It's not only limited to the eyebrow, you know. Because you can change different expressions by changing just a little bit, and just a little tiny change on those things will create more naturality. And yeah, the mask that I was explaining. Try variations of the mask. Try different ways. One bigger, one smaller. Two going up. So the eyebrows will go that way. You know, go up. Everything will go up. You see, like I have my own. I have the eyes there, but if I apply, if I change that lower eyelid up, it will give another more expression like crying. You know, ooh, crying. So when you cry, you your upper lid your lower lid goes up a little bit because you're trying to crying there. Everything will be pushed up. You know? Same with this corner. This corner is pushing here. You're raising your eyebrow, so everything will follow that tension there. Will go up. Everything will go up. Even the eyelid will go up there. You know, which is like dragging the eye on that direction. So it's a good way of thinking in that way. Here it doesn't look like that, but it can really drag more. You know. So yeah, I hope this has been a good tutorial. I wonder if there's more stuff that you would like me to cover for the eyes, and if that's the thing, let me know in my Patreon. Make sure to support the work for new tutorials, next tutorials, that things that you want to see from me. I thought the eye was a good one to cover, and with a little bit of expressions as well. So yeah, I would like to thank you for helping me achieve this tutorial as well. There's another eye I draw, and there's another variation here I draw. Where is it? Here it is. Sorry, here. It's another one. So you can see how you can change from really cartoony to more structure if you have in mind that structure of the eye I was explaining. Keep it rounded. Think about the yin yang here, okay, and the eyebrow. So there are many things to keep in mind when doing the eye. But the more you do, the more you can change, and you will see, like, just changing tiny things, you will get a better drawing design for you. So that's it, my friends. Thank you very much for joining me for this new tutorial, and I hope you have enjoyed. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I hope to see you again. Remember to check my Patreon, my DeviantArt, my Tumblr, and my Facebook, and support. So thanks, and see you again soon. REIQ with love. Goodbye.